Hey YouTube, Jedi Fuka here. In this video, we're on the test server. This is the account that I used for the Dragonheir tournament. We just did the first round, so I want to go in, show off the pulls I got, and then show some clips from those battles. Before we get into it, we'll say, so this was my first Twitch stream that I did. I had it set up incorrectly, so I lost my footage. So for the battles, I did go to my opponent's Twitch account, Dead Chris 92. You guys should go check out the video. It's pretty good. It's a really long stream though. It's about 3 hours. You got to kind of skip through to the parts that you want to watch. But I did pull some clips off of there that I'll show you guys how the battles went and how things went for that. It was a really close match. It was a lot of fun. So let's get into it. So first of all, they gave us 100 shards to pull. I pulled on the regular banner, not on the special banner. Right now there's the banner with Eric Ender, and I believe that's what Dead Chris pulled on. So this banner, it's really good. If you guys are going to be pulling on a banner, this is probably a good one to do, just because Eric Ender is amazing. Highly recommend him. But at the same time, you got a chance at some pretty good other champions. Now I will say, if you're going to go to pull, remember, there's some good events coming up that you should really be saving your dice for. So I would not be wasting dice on a banner unless you just really want one of these champions. But anyways, we'll get into what we got. So at the end of it, I ended up with 4 legendaries, and I did not utilize very many of them. We got Lucy in here. I used him quite a bit as my tank. I liked him a lot. He has a recharge speed penalty. This is very good for PvP. Any of you guys who have him, I'm sure you know how good this skill is. Highly recommend if you have him to build him, especially just for that. And then we have this frozen skill right here on a single target. I pulled Hoshide here. I like him a lot. I have him on my main account, but I did not use him in this. The reason why I did not use him is because I didn't get any other good Frost champions. And he is really there to enable Frost teams. So without those other Frost champions, he was not any good for me. I pulled this guy here, and I'm going to show you guys in one of the videos that he actually surprised me a lot. I don't use necro teams like ever in my main account. I'm about to start. I just barely started building my first one. It took me a while to get around to it because I just wasn't really a huge fan of them. But after using this guy, man, he did a really good job. We'll show you that. And then I got Twitch here. I think he's really good in PvE probably. I don't have him on my main account. So this was my first time playing around with him. I used him in one battle and that was it. He just didn't do what I wanted him to do. I tried to pair him with Sigrid so that I can get these debuffs out and then use Sigrid, and it just didn't quite work out for me. Now in epics, we didn't get a whole lot of epics. I'll just kind of go through the pictures so you can see them. My main epic that I like to use this battle was Questa. She did an amazing job. We had Thea built just in case we needed a counter for some of them. Garius here was pretty much a lifesaver for my team. Kamari here, he did a little bit of work in a battle. I'll show you that. If you guys are struggling in Pillar of Light, he's who I'm using right now to push my Pillar of Light up. I'm on the final stage of that on my main account. I didn't use any of the rally champions. I haven't really tested them, so I didn't want to test them while I'm in the middle of a tournament. Then we got only 2 Dauntless epics. I was really hoping to get someone like Shargol or one of them, but the 2 I got, they actually ended up working out really well. I did use them, and yeah, they did a little bit of work. Which Shaltar here, he enables Dauntless team, so he's already pretty good. And then Cyphrus here on my main account, I always have a hard time using her and a hard time keeping her alive, but for PvP she's really good if you have another healer. I used her and she pretty much saved my teams. Both me and Dead Chris both were using her, and she was keeping both of our teams alive. Now for rares, you're going to see we did not get a ton of rares. I didn't pull a ton of rares. We pulled a lot, but we did not pull everything. So it was still working around with what we had. And then of course there's some that I just didn't even go to at all because I knew I wasn't really going to use them. I tried to click through a bunch to get the new signs off whenever I had first pulled, but so we missed a group of them here. So anyways, we'll get into it. I'm gonna show you what my first battle looked like. Actually, we'll do it on here. I lost the first battle and I couldn't get my stuff to like properly record it. So I'm gonna jump into this arena section and I'll just show you what my first team looked like and why it failed. It failed pretty terribly, which it's all good. So we started out with Lucian up front, Cuesta, and those are the two that did my main work. I tried to keep this a full affinity team, and that's where my problem came in. So we did something along those lines. I forgot how I had them lined up, but they were very similar to that. The issue with my team was that my opponent, he was running the main character, Enna with the cleanser, Aragander, Dane, and then Cypherus for revive. Cuesta could get in the back line and kill people, but then they kept getting revived, and my team couldn't get past Aragander, so we lost the first battle pretty terribly. And then after that happened, what I did was I took out my damage dealers because I tried to get in more damage dealers, and then I added some more healing for survivability. And then that's where we get into the next team. The video quality footage is kind of bad, but I do have everything sped up so it gets through them pretty quick. But this was the next team we ran. I did Twitch and Sigrid down here. Tried to use them as my damage dealers. This is where it didn't work out for me. Twitch just wasn't hitting enough people for Sigrid to get to do her nuke, and she just wasn't hitting hard enough to kill his tanky team. And then we still had Lucian as our tank using that speed penalty. We used Garius as a tank to heal our team, and then we had Cypherus as a reviver. And you'll see our opponent there. He's using Ripicus, who's insane in PvP. I was a little worried whenever I saw him. And then he had Cypherus, the MC character, and Enna. So pretty much the same team he used the first time, only he switched Dane out with the Ripicus. And basically what you're going to see happen in this battle is that we both end up having a tanky enough team that we just time out. So this one goes into a tie. You'll see the time here. I cut these videos a little bit short when I was recording because I didn't want to show too much on his account side. I was using his Twitch stuff to get the videos since I lost my videos. So yeah, I went into 8 seconds, and then that timed out the battle. So then this next battle, when it gets into it, this is battle number 2. We were using very similar teams, only now I switched and I'm using the Necro Legendary that I showed you guys. And I'm using him with Cuesta. And this is where the battle definitely got super interesting. So when we came in with this one, what really caught me off guard was that the Necro Legendary was doing a ton of damage, and he does have AoE hit along with bringing in the extra guy for us, and that helped out a lot. But the main reason why we won any of the rounds at all is because Cuesta back here, you'll see she wiped out his Reviver. Whenever she killed the Reviver in the back line, I knew it was just a matter of time, because then I just had to dwindle down everyone else. And his attackers were squishy, so once the Reviver was down, it was just dropping them all one by one, and then we were just worried about getting Aragander out before the time ran out, which we managed to do, and that was one of the big things with this fight. And there you have it for that one. And then we just had to wipe out Aragander before time ran out, which we managed to make it to. Now we went into the next fight. For this fight, I pretty much just kept the same team. I did a little rework on my gear, trying to push out a little bit more damage, but not much. And then he kind of switched his up a little bit to see what he would get out of it. And we'll show you how this one goes. So at this point in the time, I had one loss, one win, so we were tied 1-1, and we both had a tie. Now for this fight, whenever it started, I was mostly worried about my Lucy, and once that health went down, I started seeing the light. Thought I was gonna end up dying. With his Ripicus, he was just super tanky, and I was having a hard time taking down his front line at all. And then he changed out a damage dealer to an epic frost champion in the back, which I'll show who that is when we're done, if I remember. And he was a pretty good damage dealer, so he started slowly wiping me out there. I do have the footage sped up at 2 times from when I recorded, because I was trying to make sure this didn't drag out too long. This was a really long stream, so I know you guys watching on YouTube don't want to watch the 3-hour stream. You just kind of want to see the highlights, so hopefully that helps out. As we get into the battle here, you'll see we start getting close to that timeout, and this one becomes really close. Right here at the end, he wipes out pretty much my entire team except for our Necro Legendary. So we survived with one person alive and got lucky on there. Very good timing. If that match would have lasted 10 seconds longer, we would have probably lost. Now on this match, basically what I did was I used the same team, but then I increased all my resistances to try to avoid some of the decreased penalties from Ripicus. We avoided some, not too many, but what helped us out was he grouped his team up, and then that allowed us to do a lot more damage the way he positioned his team. Let's skip ahead a little bit on this one. You'll see the time, we're still all standing. Now basically what ends up happening on this one is I take him all the way down to Ripicus, and then we end up making another tie. So that was another close round. That was last round we tied. I had one person left. This round we tied. He had one person left. So at this point we were 1-1 with like 3 ties. So this is getting really intense. Now for this round, what happened was they came in and they said, okay, now you can only use epic champions. So for this round, I went with my Dauntless team. I did Kamari, we did Shaltar, we did the Thunderous, and then I still used Garius and Cypherus for my heals and revive. And then for his team, you'll see on the bottom here, I don't know this first one's name, but then he had Dane, Cypherus, main character, and Enna. And Dauntless just hits really hard, so this rule worked out in our favor. Actually we used Shaltar and Thunderous, and then we kept Questa in there for her to go for the back line. And Kamari there, he's a reviver, but he also does healing, and as you can see, our team stayed full health, so that was a good round. It was pretty quick. I won that one. That put us 2-1 with 3 ties. Now this round they went for rares only, and then this one I tried to go with the poison affinities because I wanted to use Sigrid. I used Sigrid, Eli, Hexandra. This champion I never used before. I used him to try to place the debuffs for Sigrid, And then we used Fritz for a tank, which Fritz is really good. We'll show you how that goes. The hardest part's actually facing his team is him using Enno with those cleanses, and he kept debuffs off, and that was countering Sigrid, so I should have went with another setup when I did the rares, but just didn't really have any good rare champions that I pulled for damage. So right there you'll see both our tanks got dwindled down. He took out my tank first, and then that's where my team fell apart. We would have a few times where Eli would hit the two on the back right, and they would both get down to next to no health, and then that would just be the end of the battle because we couldn't make it. So you'll see both their health bars would like get low, and then they would heal up before we could get another attack off, and then that's where we failed it. So now we're gonna get into the final round. At this point we were both tied 2-2. The final round, the rule was that we could not use a tank, and this is where it got interesting. So when we got into this final round, the biggest thing for me, we'll come back over to here, is that since we couldn't use a tank, you'll see when I go to my champions, I did not have anything except for really super tanky legendaries. I did have him as a damage dealer, and I could have probably used him, but I wanted to try to get a team that synergized, so I didn't use any legendaries in the final battle. I went with an epic team, and then we just basically went dauntless. And this one got really nerve-wracking. So you'll see I have Questa, my two dauntless ones that I used in the previous battle and won. Then I brought in Quarion for the heals and the shield, and then Cypherus for the revive. And you'll see right here at one point my entire team falls except for my reviver, and I thought that I was done right there. See, Cypherus's health is literally like 1%, and she managed to get the revive off. Yeah, so when it was looking like this, I had really thought that this match was over. He got his full team back, then I managed to get mine back. What saved me is right here. Questa was able to wipe out 2 DPS dealers in a row. And then whenever he brought them back, Questa was just back there doing a ton of work. So that's where I won at the final ending. You see, the last match was insane. Like, basically, he wiped my whole team out. We got it revived. We wiped his out. He got it revived. And then what saved us is that Questa in that back line just kept destroying the DPS units after we got our revive, so he couldn't continuously take my team out. And then I was able to push in and finally finish the match off. So the last round was a super fun round. I had a lot of fun with that one. And now I do want to give a quick shout out to a couple of viewers. There's one Jew89 and then Selicuous. Probably saying your names wrong, but really appreciate you guys coming and watching. It was your guys' advice that got me to keep some champions going and help me out with some of my team reworking. So I really appreciate that. So for Questa here, I took her out after the first battle. I didn't realize how good she was doing for me, and you guys basically got me to get her back in there, and I'm glad you did, because she literally saved the entire day all the way through the last battle. So for you guys who are wondering, the Frost champion that Chris was using is, I believe, this guy right here, Lathander. He's a pretty good Frost champion. He does this recharge speed penalty and an accuracy penalty, so pretty good debuffs, especially for PvP. For my final team, we were using Questa, and then we went with these 2 Dauntless. I should have used someone else instead of the 2 Dauntless. Like, I should have went in with my legendary Necro. That's my fault. I was in a rush to put a team together, but it still worked out in the end, so that was good. and then we use Cypherus back here, and Quarion. So for everyone watching this, if you haven't used Quarion, if you don't have Jillian, I highly recommend using him. He's kind of a light version of her. He does the defense up just on a lower version, and also a really good heal. He just doesn't have the same cleanse that she has, so he's really good for PvP. Anyways, guys, that's it for the video. Just wanted to show those quick battles off. I'm sorry for the crappy quality. Like I said, it's my first time doing Twitch. I messed up. I did not save the video when I went back to re-record. That's just how the stuff that I have for doing the recordings and stuff went. So it was not very good quality video. I do apologize. Definitely for the next Twitch video, I went in, checked my settings, make sure it saves. And then next time we do one of the streams, I'll try to be a little more interactive. I was getting used to the setup this time. I had ideas for my next setup, so that way I'll be able to actually see what people are saying in chat while I'm playing. So hopefully that works out a little better next time. But thanks for the support. Y'all have a good one.